Alrighty, today we're going to be taking this main drive chain off. One I had to replace these sprockets on last fall that runs the length of the machine all the way down to the drive sprocket to the top. I got to take this off and take it up to chains to match the new chain to it, because I'm going with an aftermarket chain instead of buying directly from Claas, because it's a little cheaper. If y'all can see, that sprocket right there is also going to come off. I'm going to replace it. It's got a little wear on it. And I'm going to go ahead and change it out too. So y'all hang on. Take these off. You have to loosen this big spring up. You have the tensioner down there. It pulls up on. Alright, the reason why this is hard to turn is because it's a spring, so every time those hammers and that air gun hit, it takes some of the shock out of those little hammers inside of it, so it makes it hard to turn. It's not because it's seized or anything. I gotta take all the crap loose now. I don't ever like to reuse these, so I'm not too worried about how I take them out. Alright, so now I got it off. That's some big, heavy, thick chain. That thing's about 10 foot long. And it drives, like I said, down here off of this sprocket. This is where your declutcher's at, all the way top. It's got another main drive chain here. There is absolutely no wear on this one. I've never had to even take a length out. I've still got plenty of adjustment on it. And the sprockets on it are good. This one's okay. Like I said, I replaced these. That little chain, it hasn't got really any wear on it. I've still got plenty of adjustment with it too. I've never replaced the chains on this baler. I think it's got like 14,000 something through it. Never had to replace a chain on it. There's another big chain just like that one I pulled off in here. I tightened it and took a link out, back last year. If you've been watching for a while, you remember that. It's actually easier to work on than that one, believe it or not. And it had absolutely no wear to it, and the sprockets all look good too. So everything was good there. So let's take off this sprocket up here now. This thing's filthy. It wasn't washed before I put it up. I don't like to wash them when I put them up. Did you see where it went? I hope you did. I'll have to find that. Hopefully this just slides off. Looking at mine, it's going to be a little bit. Okay, first off, keep watching till the end, because there is going to be something cool and a cool announcement at the end of this video. So, but what I'm doing here is I'm trying to get this sprocket off, and there's a snap ring that holds a bearing on the back side of this sprocket in that hinge there, that because this sprocket's what drives the chain that's in the tailgate. And there's a right here, I'm trying to clamp down the snap ring enough, and what I was having to do is basically there's a bearing behind it and there's a snap ring in front on my side, and the snap ring's what holds that sprocket from on there. So what I'm having to do is I'm having to try to clamp the snap ring down and turn the puller to get it past it to where I can slide it off. Another thing I realized here was, in order to get this sprocket off, I had to take that other little chain off. I was hoping I didn't have to, but once I got the snap ring out and the chain out of the way, it just slid right off. Okay, here it is. I got the sprocket off. This is the new one on the right, and that's the old one on the left. There's a bearing that goes up inside of that hinge that the door moves on, because there's a chain on the inside of the door, or inside of here, that drives the bottom roller. And there's a bearing on the outside, and that's what that lock ring was I was trying to get off, that holds that bearing in there. It keeps it from moving. So you have to get this lock ring on it right here, this one right in here, loose, and they give you this hole right here to get it loose. Once I got a decent set of lock ring pliers, or found something that worked, I used needle nose, I got it off pretty easy. My lock ring pliers weren't quite big enough. I had one set that was nearly the right size, but they weren't quite the right size. That's a pretty good size lock ring. So now I've got to pull this ring here off and slide this bearing off and put it on. This bearing's good and tight, so I'm not going to worry about replacing it, as long as I can get it off without damaging it. If I can get it off without it being, if it just slides right off, I'm going to just put it back. If not, what I may do is just call and order another one to go on it, but everything feels tight. I don't feel any slop at all in it, which is pretty good considering how much hay this thing's got through it. So, but that's enough for today. This video is getting pretty long. I'm gonna call it quits. I'll finish this thing up tomorrow. Hold on just a second. So back around Christmas, I said that me and Can Equipment was going to be working on some more stuff this year, like we did last year with the demos and stuff that I did for y'all, so y'all could see them. Today something showed up. We're probably going to be using this this spring unless he sells it and needs it. Another thing, I got another thing lined up with this company to do too, if everything works out all right. But this is going to be a go ahead and do a look at it coming soon. I don't know if it'll be the next video, but it might be. But I'll give you a quick glimpse right quick. This is the company, so y'all kind of guess what it is. But Me and Canyon Equipment is going to be working together on a few different pieces of equipment. Peckway is one of the brands. I'm excited to do it, like we did last year. Get to tell my honest opinion and give it an honest review of what I think. Here in a few days we will be taking a look at this one. There is some other stuff we have planned if it all works out. Hopefully it will. I know last year I had a lot of people tell me that they really enjoyed it because they didn't get to go to the farm shows or stuff like that, and got to actually see the details and see the equipment actually working. There's not many shows you can go to where you can actually see it in action, the equipment. So I'm excited to do it again. We will be just taking a look at this one for now, and then later this spring when we start baling we'll actually get to see it in field. But stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and thank you to Canyon Equipment for allowing us to do this again this year for y'all. I really appreciate it, and I'll see y'all later.